Welcome to Hero Club.
I'm Nick Williams.
And I'm George Primavera.
George and I started playing Dungeons & Dragons with our buddies in college, and we haven't stopped since. Even when we lived on opposite coasts, I would Skype in George on the TV in the living room of my apartment,
while I would DM from the floor of my bathroom so as not to wake up my roommate. When I finally came out to Los Angeles, we started playing with our friends right away.
And when we'd inevitably tell other people about the ultimate betrayals and daring heroics that happened in our games, we realized that they were just hearing a jumbled mess instead of the cinematic blockbuster memories that were in our heads. We wanted to show people how fun and immersive D&D can be, especially those who had never played.
And to do that, we record a full game like normal around the table and then painstakingly cut it down from 4 hours to a clean, math-free episode, so you can experience our memories the way we do.
Just like in a real game, nothing is ever written or planned out ahead of time with the players. The only things we add are music and sound effects.
I am the Dungeon Master. I build the world and the framework for an adventure. The players, like Nick, must then journey through the obstacles I set before them, rolling a 20-sided die and adding character-specific bonuses to see if they succeed. If they beat the number I have in my head, then their action is successful. If not, it is a failure, and there may be consequences. We try to follow the rules of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition as close as we can, but as the Dungeon Master, what I say goes, and there are some things I like to do differently.
Each season is its own contained story, so find one that sounds interesting to you and start from the top. And hey,
welcome to the club. And now, Hero Club presents The City of Mirrors, Volume 10, The Catacombs.
The Daily Globetrotter is proud to present this week's top scoop from across the globe. Our sources report that Daringcroft and his merry band of explorers brave the briny depths aboard a submarine obtained from the Gunwitch of Chile, as they make for the ominous obsidian dome amidst the surf. And so, Daringcroft's intrepid crew is left to ponder what awaits them within truly unknown waters. Could Tabitha Maywater and her Hessians be lying in wait, or could something far more terrible lurk beneath the dark waves? Either way, the Daily Globetrotter will be there, so stay tuned. In the spirit of repairing our reputation after last week's crass and inappropriate use of the S-word, this week's broadcast is brought to you by Fagerbakke's Foul-Mouth Fixin' Soap Bars. Is your little missus delivering derogatory dialogue daily? Is your little fella spewing, "To the human trash that stole the best job in the world from me, your days are numbered. I will come back and reclaim what is mine. You will rue the day you crossed poopin' stash." Now back to the program. All right, who's the funny guy?
The hatch of the submarine slams shut behind Theobald, Bones, Jade, and Vanya as they carefully make their way down a ladder to a cramped and low-ceilinged bridge. Pipes, gears, dials, gauges, and electrical wiring twist through the claustrophobic interior, leaving not even a sliver of wall exposed. The submarine must be at least 50 feet long, but only about 20 feet of it seems to be easily accessible. The rest obstructed by what looks like a metallic vascular system. The bridge is equipped with a periscope and a pilot's control board with a few extraneous chairs bolted to the floor nearby. Everybody make an intelligence check.
19.
16.
12.
17.
Isn't this marvelous? Not quite the way I would have laid it out, but this is rather similar to my own design back at home. Yes, I quite think I could manage this, actually. Vanya, old boy, what do you make of those dials there?
Oh, yes. This subby is brilliant. The way that everything flows like a cardiovascular system through this entire machine. She is not just a mechanic. She is an artist. A life bringer.
Yes, what do they do?
They make it go up and down.
Splendid.
Bones plops the unconscious Jade into a seat. Alright, there you go. Just try to rest up. After correcting her flopping body several times, he belts her into the chair so that she won't fall over.
Well, tell you what. Well, you don't tell me what to do.
Yes, no one tells you what to do, Jade. Triple checking that Jade is secure, Bones goes to investigate a periscope descending from the roof of the submersible. Bones puts his eyes up to the viewfinder. Ah! With this nifty thing here, I can see above the water from down below the water. God, she thought of everything.
Yes, it is all rather ingenious. That should be instrumental in helping me steer. So, Mr. Mahoney, where to?
Bones pivots the periscope, trying to find the dome.
Roll a survival check.
13.
While the dome is not in sight, you know the general direction.
We're westward bound, Doc.
Righto! Theobald points the submersible out into open sea.
The submarine gently hums after there is a burst of steam somewhere in the rear of the vessel, and sure enough, the submarine begins to crawl forward away from the dock. Nickelback's voice crackles over the Atlantean earpieces.
Hello, sir. Just checking to make sure you're all still alive and well after all that ruckus down at the docks.
Oh, Nickelback! How are you doing, old sport?
Very good, sir. A woman claiming to be a contact of yours has offered to refuel the Wyvern, using the remnants of some Hessian aircraft. And with the backup fuel, I will be able to safely land on open water quite near to that enormous dome in the middle of the ocean, which is where I assume you are heading.
Yes, are you referring to Miss Sarah Subby Withers? She has been an instrumental ally thus far.
Oh, she did not introduce herself, sir, but her men were referring to her as the Gun Witch of Chile. Should I be alarmed, sir?
No, not at all. She's perfectly harmless. To you.
On the other end of the earpieces, you hear a rattling of gunfire.
Oh, good. I shall be taking off soon and shall remain idle atop the waves at an approachable distance for you when you resurface. And, sir, do be careful, won't you?
Oh, come now, Nickelback, it's me. When have I ever been anything other than the very picture of caution?
Bones removes his head from the viewfinder. I've taken more bullets in the last week than I have in my entire life. And I'm from America.
Right. Well, safe travels, everyone.
Bones, make a perception check.
9.
Eventually, the sandy bottom of the ocean comes into view. Fish flee, and crabs bury themselves as this new source of light intrudes upon their quiet world. And the submarine continues to hum forward, spotlights stretching out onto the sand. About 100 feet in the distance, an enormous object lies still on the ocean floor, but you are unable to make out exactly what it is.
We got something coming up at 12 o'clock.
Marvelous. Do describe it.
It's big, it's motionless, it's on the ocean floor. Vanya, why don't you come and take a look at this?
Vanya, make a perception check.
Nat 20.
The submarine skulks forward, and Vanya sees an enormous steamboat with jagged holes punched into its hull, sitting still in the sediment. Already, wildlife is beginning to claim this freshly sunken ship as its own. Fish shoot in and out of shattered windows, and a great white shark lazily crests the stern of the ship, curiously investigating the submarine. As the submarine moves past the sunken ship, the shark changes course, propelling itself ahead as if taking the role of leader. Vanya, make a survival check.
4.
Soon, the shark disappears deep into the murky water ahead of you.
Vanya, what do you see? Anything interesting?
Yeah, what was that big thing?
It was a sunken ship, and then a beautiful shark. It was as if it was beckoning us, but then faded away into the darkness.
Oh, how marvelous. Would that I did not have to pilot this contraption.
Yeah, some sailor guy was telling me about those shark things on the ship ride across the Atlantic. They're like water bears, right?
Yes, they are very much like water bears.
Did we get him? Did we get him?
He's dead. Just go back to sleep.
The party goes about taking a short rest.
Oh, that's much better. Gov, just out of curiosity, what are we expecting to find?
Well, Miss Pickitt, that is half the fun, isn't it? From my research, I've gleaned that the culture inside the City of Mirrors is likely some sort of blending of at least Norse and Christian mythologies, although we've seen a litany of others in our findings. But honestly, I think there's no way to truly know, hence the great lengths we must take to find the place.
Right. And when you say culture, do you mean like stuff on the walls, or you think actual people are living there?
No. If I were a betting man, Miss Pickitt, I'd say we're about to find a lost civilization. So, I don't expect we shall find any other people there, save for perhaps Lady Maywater and her cronies, although I am hoping against hope that we'll have beaten them to it.
We've been so preoccupied with the how we get there that it seems that we have not parsed through what we've seen and wondered what we are about to walk into. From my experience and what you've told me before, the other expeditions, well, this one seems to elude most. Why exactly is this one so hidden from the world?
Yes, Vanya, therein lies the rub. So much of what I found required a great deal of reading between the lines, as it were. I believe because the City of Mirrors appears to be such a marriage of so many cultures, I'd venture to guess it is far older and far more ambiguous than, say, an Atlantis or Kubla Khan's Xanadu.
I know that I'm very skeptical of certain things, and what I'm about to say is a little bit crazy, but some of my friends who helped me learn how to create bismuth, Vanya lovingly pats his flamethrower, they were from Germany, and a German scientist had another idea. One in which all of the continents, they used to be one.
What?
I know, it is a crazy idea, but it is not something that is crazier than things we have seen.
Theobald briefly lets go of the controls to grab Vanya by the face and plant a huge wet kiss on his cheek.
Why?
Vanya, old boy! Here I was, thinking I had come at this from every angle, but that would explain so much. If all of these cultures at one point coexisted on the same mass of land, it would explain how we are seeing impossible to explain cultures next to each other.
Well, I'll say, I've seen a lot of strange things in the last week, and, well, suppose I'm not in a position to be doubting you.
No matter what lies ahead, we press on and glean some experiences of our own to help shed some light on these theories and research.
Doc, I don't mean to complain too much. I am very grateful to be on this job. But it does kind of feel like we've just been going from brutal gunfight to brutal gunfight. And I'd like to have some semblance of an idea of what I'm gonna be expected to do when we get there. When you found Atlantis the first time, when it was there and stuff, what did you see? Were there dangers there? Was it full of traps or monsters?
Oh yeah, I'm interested in that question too.
Yeah, what am I gonna have to punch, Doc?
Oh, why didn't you say so? Atlantis was most certainly booby-trapped. To the gills, I might add. There was quite a bit of peril involved in getting there, much like our journey to get here. But the things I found, the knowledge and the riches, the Atlantean earpieces that you all wear at this moment, I found real magic in Atlantis. I only wish I had brought more back for study before publicly announcing its discovery. So, as far as what to expect, we should obviously prepare for our competitors, whether they lie in wait for us or are closely nipping at our heels. But from the city itself, I would wager, much like what you saw in Baghdad, booby traps, deep chasms, puzzles to be solved, beautiful sights, unavailable to see anywhere else, and hopefully treasure and knowledge beyond our wildest imaginations.
I feel like I'm gonna have to fight those jaguars.
Oh, I imagine that if we encounter Michelangelo and Rembrandt, it will not all be face licks and belly rubs, no.
Why would you imagine it would be that?
You will have to understand my relationship with those cats is very complicated. I once considered Lady Maywater a friend, a very dear friend.
Were you sweet on her, Gov?
Theobald blushes.
Oh.
Well, Miss Pickitt, to put it shortly, yes. But I do have a sense of propriety, and I would never do anything uncouth. And she was married for most of the time I knew her, and I've had great respect for her and her achievements. Which is why I was deeply saddened when she did not arrive with all of you at Bravegate Manor.
Right, and now she's all evil and such.
Yes, and that was perhaps the most heartbreaking of all, Miss Pickitt. But still, I must remember my Lord Byron. The heart will break, but broken live on.
If you could die of a broken heart, I'd be buried 20 times over.
Yes, Mr. Mahoney, I imagine we all would.
Bones, make a perception check.
19.
Ahead of you, the ocean suddenly becomes even darker than it was previously. The lights of the submarine strain through the cloudy water and illuminate a jet-black obstruction that spans thousands of feet in every direction.
Oh, we got something up ahead here. It might be the dome. Bones works at the toggles on the periscope, attempting to zoom in on the obstruction.
With a click-clack, the lens changes. Make a survival check, Bones.
Nat 20.
Ahead of you almost certainly lies the massive obsidian dome, extending from the sand below and protruding out of the surf. And as Bones scans, he sees a tunnel a few 100 feet south. It is almost completely indiscernible against the black rock, but Bones catches the tail of a great white shark disappearing into it.
Yeah, it's our dome, all right. Doc, you're gonna want to turn this thing 45 degrees south. There's a tunnel up ahead. Looks like the only way in.
Fantastic, Mr. Mahoney. Theobald makes the adjustments.
Theobald, make a vehicle check.
19.
And Theobald makes the adjustments, flipping a few switches and turning a few dials to correctly steer the craft. Vanya, make a vehicles check.
23.
And Vanya releases a few valves and the submarine begins to descend to the proper depth.
Can I take a look? Jade pops up, not realizing that Bones has strapped her in, and gets flung back into her chair.
What? Oh, Christ almighty.
Sorry, Jade. It was for your own good at the time.
Right. And Jade starts unbuckling.
I might need to help you with that. I tied a knot on that belt with zero rhyme or reason.
You know this is like my trade, right?
Hey, good luck. Bones returns to the periscope.
Jade, make a sleight of hand check.
Botch.
Jade becomes deeply tangled in the ropes and is completely unable to move, now restrained.
Somebody help me.
God damn it, Jade. I told you I'd need to help you with that.
Right, well, you were correct.
Bones trudges over and tugs on the load-bearing rope, completely untangling it all in one pull.
Well, this is, embarrassing. I'm gonna go over there now. And Jade walks 2 feet to the other corner of the submarine.
Bones turns to the other two. Let's just give her a minute.
Bones, to say the tunnel is dark is a drastic understatement. The lights only brighten more blackness. Ominous, constricting walls add another layer of claustrophobia to the void that lies ahead. And something comes into view and bounces against the glass of the periscope. Bones, make a perception check.
Nat 20.
A Hessian soldier, limp and lifeless in clunky, heavy-looking diving gear, bumps against the glass. Or rather, the top half of a Hessian soldier. As the body floats past, it becomes apparent that the bottom half of the man is missing, and suddenly, the body is snapped up by the great white shark from earlier.
Water bear.
Mr. Mahoney, what do you see?
Well, looks like your lady love did beat us to the punch, Doc.
Blast.
But it also appears they haven't had much luck.
Please, do elaborate.
Oh, sorry. The Hessian soldier I'm looking at is in half.
Oh, good God, man. Bones Mahoney, have you ever considered writing dramas for the stage?
It's funny you say that. I actually spent most of my later teen years writing under the name Professor Wayne Gamgee, MD. To minimal acclaim.
The ground begins to slope upward. Bones, make one more perception check.
8.
Dark red clouds begin to wisp past the submarine, and soon, Bones loses all visual of the tunnel.
Doc, I got a lot of blood here.
The vessel is moving forward blindly in a sea of radiant red and black.
Can't see for shit.
Theobald's going to try to ease off the throttle if possible, to go as slowly as he can.
Theobald cuts the engine of the submarine, but it careens forward and suddenly stops extremely abruptly as it collides with the sediment in front of it. Everyone make a strength save.
12.
18.
Natural 20.
16.
Everybody except Bones successfully braces themselves. Bones smashes his nose on the periscope. He takes 7 damage, bringing him down to 68 points of health.
God damn.
Vanya, make an intelligence check.
18.
One of the gauges implies that the submarine has surfaced.
It appears to me that we have already surfaced.
Bones checks the periscope again to corroborate that.
Roll a perception check, Bones.
16.
You're unable to tell. The periscope sees only darkness, and as you swivel it around, a few motes of light. But the image is extremely foggy.
Are you sure, Vanya? It still looks pretty water cavey out there.
I am just reading what the machine tells me. I could try going up a little more to see what happens.
Vanya, make an intelligence check.
6.
The submarine groans, as if trying to respond, but unable to, though it does not sound like the craft is damaged.
Now, I'm no expert, but, should we try to open the door? I mean, if it's so full of water, I don't think we could open it. So if we can, it means we're out of water. Right?
Yes, Miss Pickitt, I think that might be our situation.
The only thing Bones Mahoney hates more than dying underground is dying underground underwater.
Well, as she said, Mr. Mahoney, if we are still underwater, the door should prove impossible to open.
All right, everybody stand back, I'll give it a go.
The group heads back up to the hatch all together, and Bones' shoulders open the hatch. And you find yourself in an open underground cavern, lit by lanterns strung up on obsidian walls. And lying ashore in this subterranean cave is a gelatinous mass that looks like a rotted beached whale. Everyone make a nature check.
Botch.
10.
23.
8.
Theobald, you recognize the head of an anglerfish, half the size of the submarine itself, with jagged teeth and whited-out eyes, but with the body of an amphibious, toad-like monstrosity, arms and legs webbed and adorned with wicked-looking claws.
Oh my God.
And then suddenly, where the lure of this anglerfish should be, you see a little cherrying red light that appears for a moment atop the beast.
What is that, Doc? Doc, explain that to me. I don't know what that is. What am I looking at?
Mr. Mahoney, calm yourself, man.
And then a voice permeates within the cavern.
About damn time.
Tabitha Maywater takes another enormous drag off of a cigar as she slides off of the still creature, landing heavily and falling to one knee. As she does, both of her big cats emerge from the shadows and growl territorially.
Lady Maywater, glad to see you haven't met the same fate as all your men.
Nice one, Doc. You got this. Just keep it up. Bones lightly slaps Theobald in the back to fix his posture.
Theobald straightens up immediately. Been here long?
Other people's holidays might look different, but the past 3 days have been interesting to say the least.
Tabitha throws her pistol across the cave floor.
Boys, stand down.
Both cats immediately sit and become docile.
3 days, Tabitha, and yet you are still here at the entrance. It seems you picked the wrong crew, eh?
Especially that helmet guy. Man, he didn't even get to say a cool thing before I killed his ass.
Tabitha scoffs a little.
Oh, Helmet? He's fine. Assuming nothing horrible has happened to him on the coast.
No, that's what I'm telling you. I killed him myself on the coast.
Oh, no.
Like 2 hours ago.
Theobald has not taken his eyes off of the pistol on the ground, but he has unslung his rifle. What the devil are you playing at, Tabitha?
Well, frankly, Theo, I wanted to beat you to it. I wanted to beat anyone to it. Then when we encountered this,
And Tabitha gestures to the gelatinous mass behind her.
I was the only one that survived. And I know that they were crew for hire, strictly speaking, but the last sounds of life leaving that many men was horrifying.
Are we supposed to feel bad for her? She tried to kill us, like, several times.
We've also heard a lot of screaming in the last week.
That is true, everyone. Some of it from our own mouths. Still, Theobald refocuses on Tabitha. I give you top marks for grit, Lady Maywater. Bones, grab the pistol. Jade, do me a favor and tie Lady Maywater up.
Doc, you sure it's such a good idea? Those jaguars are still sitting right there.
And, Gov, Just because she's not the most credible source, I'd wager it's quite possible she's lying and there's plenty of guys lurking around here, waiting for a weak moment to pounce on us just like them cats.
Yeah, maybe it was just that one half guy who died.
Yeah, she probably killed him to create a diversion.
Yeah!
Oh, I won't be tied up like some common prisoner. But in terms of an ambush, no, it's just me.
Theobald, Jade, roll insight checks.
19.
12.
Theobald, Tabitha remains inscrutable. But Jade, in Tabitha's last words, you hear a truly shaken woman. And do not think that she even has the capacity to lie right now. As you look down, you see her clutching her torso and see that her white blouse has been stained dark red and is sticking to her side.
Looks like you've been wounded. Here's an idea, Gov. Why don't we have the lady put her pets into the sub so they can't get us, and then we can stitch her up and she can come along with us for whatever there is to find.
Yes, Lady Maywater, considering the treatment we went through whilst experiencing your hospitality, I think that's only fair.
Theobald, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
11.
Tabitha's nostrils flare. That is completely out of the question, Theo. They are the only reason I am alive right now. And to put them in that metal death trap without even a chance of survival should anything happen, I can't do it. I won't do it. I give you my word. No harm shall befall you from them.
It is a very nice reassurance, but once we get deeper into this, if we are all to survive, I know very clearly that you are going to try to betray us. Vanya turns to his group. Maybe I am naive and very stupid, but I am not so much afraid of Lady Tabitha as I never have been, sorry, as I am this giant creature that stands before us. And if perhaps there are more of these things deeper within these caverns, personally just me, I like to have panthers and tigers and wolves on my side. It is pragmatic and possibly stupid, and yes, there is risk, but wouldn't you rather the cats be hurt by these giant toad creature?
And you forget, I've been here for 3 days.
Yeah, all your guys are dead. But that point's kinda moot, lady.
Yes, Lady Maywater, for the person at the disadvantage, you certainly aren't making any concessions.
I've had that much time to decipher what's ahead. You needed my brain once. You're going to need it again.
Okay, look, if we're gonna do this, they are walking in front of us, both the cats and the lady.
Couldn't agree more, old chap.
And we're gonna fully check her out for any sort of weapons or anything, because I'm not about to get stabbed again. Or shot.
First things first, let's bandage a wound. We don't want that blood attracting more water bears.
Oh, man, can that happen?
What, water bears?
Do you know anything, lady?
Don't pay it any mind. Theobald steps up to bandage the wound.
Theobald, roll a medicine check.
11.
You manage to bind the wound and stop the bleeding for now.
Thank you.
Theobald pats her down, looking for anything that could be used to escape or hurt his team.
Roll an investigation check.
Nat 20.
Wrapped around Tabitha's left thigh, Theobald feels the outline of a long dagger.
Aren't you going to take me out to dinner first?
I had hoped I'd have the opportunity to, yes.
Theobald, roll a persuasion check.
13.
Tabitha rolls her eyes, but smirks slightly.
Bones hops down off the sub and kicks the gun into the water. Get out of here!
That was my mother's. I would have liked to have... Oh, it's fine.
Theobald hands the knife off to Jade. Miss Pickitt, won't you hold on to this for Lady Maywater?
I'll take good care of it, ma'am.
Michelangelo, Rembrandt. Lead the way.
Rembrandt and Michelangelo turn silently and pad deeper into the tunnel, and Tabitha leads the rest of the party right after them. The cave is poorly lit by a few hastily set up gas lanterns. A whistling wind crescendos slightly as you all move forward, and within a minute or two, the party comes out into a large chamber and are struck with the visage of themselves. Theobald, Vanya, Jade, Bones, and Tabitha stare at a likeness of themselves within an enormous reflective wall, a great big mirror.
Marvelous.
Everybody make a perception check.
11.
21.
5.
13.
Jade, as you look up in wonder, you notice something carved into the surface of this enormous mirror. A few lines of text, formatted like a verse, though the language is completely unrecognizable.
Gov, there's something written up there. I've no idea what it says, but I can see.
There is no sleep in endless night, nor waking. Light betrays those with desperate intent. May the accursed prisoners of Idun feed forever upon hubris. May the banished children of Eve and Adam die in time. The garden is lost to those who would defile its purpose. Travelers flee, or retribution shall be exacted in kind. 3 days. I've been here for 3 days.
Theobald can't help but be impressed. Well, that is why I came to you first. What do you make of it?
Well, a couple parts that were of particular notice to me. Light betrays those with desperate intent.
And she glances at the lanterns.
We might have to lose those. The garden is lost to those who would defile its purpose.
Tabitha glances to their weapons.
We might have to lose those.
A lot of doom and gloom in this whole thing. Vanya, any thoughts?
May the accursed prisoners of Idun feed forever. Is it possible that this city is a prison, and its purpose is to keep something locked in? And if we are to defile its purpose, to let it out, that may be the hubris itself. We have not heard yet of Idun described as a place that would have prisoners.
Everybody make a perception check.
9.
25.
Nat 20.
19.
8.
Vanya, Theobald, and Tabitha all look up into the left corner of this cave, and a whistling wind can be heard, leaking through the small egress. There's something on the other side of this mirror.
Theobald perks up, having had a thought, and looks for anywhere obvious that he could put either of the golden apples.
There doesn't appear to be any receptacle, and the apple has gone icy cold at Theobald's touch. Tabitha also holds her apple aloft.
Theobald looks at his apple and holds his hand out for Tabitha's. May I see that?
Tabitha walks over to Theo, placing the apple in his hand.
Theobald walks up to the mirror, looks at the 2 apples in his hand, pockets Tabitha's, and then using the golden hook from Mesopotamia, opens his.
The apple peels in a mechanical fashion until it is fully opened, and then begins to pulse with golden light, as it had in the Russian motel. And when Theobald looks back up into the mirror, he sees no reflection.
Hey, that's something. Theobald reaches out a hand to touch the surface of the mirror.
And it passes through the surface.
And Theobald steps through the absence of a mirror.
Theobald, make a wisdom save.
19.
For a moment, your senses are completely overwhelmed, as in every single direction, an infinite number of lights suddenly shine all around you. As you regain your senses, you realize that the floor, walls, and ceiling are made of mirrors, and this golden apple reflects infinitely through all of them. The rest of the party sees Theobald disappear from sight, and the light source from the apple extinguishes, though their reflections are still absent from the mirror.
So I guess we're going in then.
Might as well.
Jade walks in.
So does Bones.
Vanya enters as well.
As does Tabitha.
The rest of you make a wisdom save.
21.
19.
18.
21.
All of you also feel the sensory overload before steeling yourselves and reasoning that you are surrounded by reflections. Everybody make a perception check.
14.
Botch.
18.
15.
13.
As you all very carefully and slowly begin to move deeper into this reflective cavern, the apple held aloft, Theobald starts to notice little obstructions blocking the mirror's light. Theobald, make a nature check.
17.
Against all odds, there seems to be roots protruding from the mirror and disappearing back into different parts of the mirror.
I say, everyone, look there. Do those not look like the roots of a tree?
Theobald traces his hand along these roots a little bit deeper into the cave, and then notices that his hand comes up on something rather soft. As he brings the golden apple down to illuminate it, he finds another apple, colored bright red.
Even I know not to eat this one.
That's right, I remember being told this. You're not supposed to eat that, and there's a snake somewhere. So everybody look, keep your eye out for a snake.
Yes, the garden is lost to those who would defile its purpose. Theobald holds up the golden apple and casts its light around a little more.
Though it is difficult to tell as the golden light reflects infinitely in the mirrors surrounding you, you start to discern more and more tree trunk roots and apples hanging from them like grapes from a vine. Each of these apples is brightly red colored and is soft to the touch, as if covered by a kind of peach fuzz. They hang from the ceilings, they hang from the walls, and some come up from the floor.
Theobald, his opinion on regular apples middling at best, searches his feelings about these apples to see if he feels any unnatural kind of temptation to pick or eat them.
Roll an Arcana check.
10.
You are unsure.
This may be nothing, but, Theo, can I see the other apple, please?
Yes, of course, old man. And Theobald hands Vanya the apple.
Vanya holds up this apple as if it was a light.
Nothing happens.
Apologies, it said that light betrays those with desperate intent, and we are now currently following the light of the apple. I figured maybe having the apple that was not lit up might help.
Yes, Vanya, old boy, now that you mention it, the line, light betrays those with desperate intent, certainly makes one feel uneasy about holding an orb of light.
Right, let's turn it off, see what happens.
My thoughts exactly, Miss Pickitt. And Theobald tentatively reaches up and takes the key out of the apple.
And then there is utter darkness.
Well, great idea, Vanya.
Everybody make a perception check.
20.
10.
10.
23.
Vanya and Jade are the only ones to hear, a few 100 feet in front of them, chewing.
Does anybody else hear somebody, or something eating?
That's not you?
No, for once, it's not me. We are not alone.
Hello? Someone eating out there?
Christ, Bones!
What?
And the chewing stops. There is a beat, and the chewing does not recommence.
Does anyone feel that I should put the key back into the apple?
I mean, like I said before, now it's just pitch black and there's a chewing thing out there somewhere. I don't know if we made our situation better by taking the key out.
Well, wait, do we have anything that lights up? Like, besides the apple?
Bones pulls out his matchbook from the blue penny and strikes a match.
Everybody roll a stealth check.
11.
17.
17.
16.
9.
The group quietly creeps forward, Bones taking the lead, holding the match aloft. Both big cats pad very slowly and quietly next to all of you, their hair standing on end, clearly deeply, deeply afraid. Bones, as you step forward, you find a very large root protruding from floor to ceiling, absolutely speckled with apples that all have bites taken out of them, some of them right to the core. Make a nature check.
10.
It looks like a man took a bite out of these.
If I know anything, these bites were made with a human mouth.
Feeding forever on pawn hubris.
30 feet in the distance, something gasps inward, just at the edges of the matchlight.
Bones instinctively sprints towards it and throws as many fists as he can.
As Bones runs forward, illuminating the bipedal figure in front of them, he sees at first what looks like a man, but then realizes that the skin is so pale, it has crossed the line into translucent. You can see skeleton and organs floating within the epidermis of this man with jagged teeth and swollen, foggy eyes. Bones, as you get within 5 feet, make a charisma save.
10.
Bones becomes frightened.
Oh, Christ! Bones scrambles backwards.
The figure does not pursue Bones, but instead allows the light to fade as it gets further away, seemingly pacing left and right.
Bones shakes it off and collects himself. Oh, sorry. That thing is really gross up close. Should I try to punch it again?
There is no sleep in endless night, nor waking. That thing's been here for a while.
Wonder if it can even be killed.
I'm gonna try.
Mr. Mahoney, now!
As you run forward, Bones, now immune to this fear effect, roll an attack with advantage.
18.
Hit, roll damage.
7 damage.
The creature goes limp immediately as Bones knocks it unconscious.
Oh, all right, guys. I think I got it.
Bones, you realize that this creature is restrained within vines, having gotten itself tangled up in a mess of them, chewing on apples just a bit out of its reach. But clearly it has become stuck. It suddenly jerks back awake and then lets out a blood-curdling screech. And then 1,000 voices from far in the distance respond in kind.
Bones stomps the head of the creature, trying to silence the screech.
Roll an attack with advantage.
15.
And Bones puts this creature out of its misery.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up!
But the chorus of voices continues to screech in the distance, and soon there is a rumbling like a stampede.
Theobald quickly turns the hook in the apple again.
And light illuminates the cavern, creating a dazzling effect. The screaming is coming from behind you, left, right, above, and below. And now that you're in this part of the chamber, illuminated, you can see holes and caves in the endless mirrors. Beyond these exits, a horde surely approaches.
Everybody run!
Boys!
He just had to punch it, Bones. He just had to punch it.
The screaming and yelling behind you begins to crescendo. Everybody make a perception check.
14.
16.
18.
Nat 20.
4.
Vanya looks back over his shoulder and just for a moment sees a pale, almost translucent skull peek out from the ceiling and begin to crawl over the rock like a spider. And then more follow after it.
Above! Above, we're surrounded!
Everyone but Bones make a charisma save.
18.
17.
11.
11.
Theobald and Tabitha feel fear grip their hearts as they run forward.
What in God's name is this?
Do not invoke the name of the Almighty down here! There is no God down here! Where are you, God? Where are you?
Everybody make an acrobatics check to avoid the roots jutting out of the ground. Theobald and Tabitha make this check at disadvantage.
18.
19. 30.
Nat 20.
17.
Not today.
Everybody clears the roots and continues to sprint forward. Suddenly, the walls of the cave completely give way to an enormous chamber, and you all find yourselves sprinting forward on a tiny, mirror-slick bridge with endless voids on every other side of you.
Step lightly now.
Behind you, it becomes very clear as the light extends hundreds of feet in either direction from the apple that these pale, translucent beings are crawling up the walls of the bridge, emerging from the cavern behind you, and even in some cases, dropping down onto the bridge from above. Most of them dying on impact as they fall, but a few scrabbling back up onto the surface of the bridge. 6 of these creatures lie ahead of you and feel ready to receive you, arms wide, jagged teeth agape, and completely and utterly blind.
Theobald pulls his revolver and shoots at the first one in their way. 10.
The bullet goes wide.
Damn! Theobald immediately fires again, this time making sure to mark his target. 10 again.
Another miss.
Jade pulls 2 daggers from her boot and throws them at 2 of the creatures in front of her. 20. 24.
2 of these creatures, daggers now embedded in their necks, fall off of the bridge.
Bones rushes the group of 4, kicks one, and throws 3 punches, one at each of the others. Dirty 20, 11, 25, 9.
2 hits.
Bones leads with a big boot into the chest of one of them, sending him careening off the bridge. then swings at another,
which catches Bones' hand, screaming vile spittle into Bones' mustache.
He brings his other fist around to catch that one in the jaw.
And it falls off the bridge limp.
And then rounds to swing one more time at the next one,
which easily ducks.
Boys, attack!
Rembrandt and Michelangelo tear forward past Bones, savaging the remaining two.
Vanya, taking up the rear, wheels around and unleashes a torrent of fire from bismuth behind him.
The horde, which had been catching up at our group's heels, suddenly flinches as Vanya skids across the slick bridge, readying bismuth, his flamethrower, and unleashes a torrent of fire. High-pitched screams echo in the cavern as all of these creatures fall to the ground, burning. The horde blanches as the heat from the pile of bodies drives them backward for a moment, causing them to hesitate. And our party gains a bit of distance, heading towards a cavern at the opposite end of the bridge and disappearing inside of it. Once again, the mirrors on the ceiling, walls, and floor alight with infinite light.
Again with this!
Everyone, remember how I told you about magnificent sights and experiences, riches and knowledge to be experienced?
Yeah?
This is not what I meant.
All of you come up on a mirror that is blocking your path, and there do not appear to be any caves that lead in any other direction. And the horde has clearly gotten past the mound of burning bodies and approaches rapidly.
Shut the apple.
Theobald takes the hook out of the apple and feels for a wall in front of it.
There is only darkness, and as Theobald moves his fingers to where the wall should be, he passes through.
Everybody, come on! Theobald passes through the absence of mirror again.
Tabitha runs forward after Theo as soon as he closes the apple.
Bones fumbles for his matches again. Oh, come on, and strikes one.
Bones, as soon as you try to exit through the mirror, you smack against it.
Goddamn!
Oi, what are you doing?
And Jade blows out the match and tries to run through.
And does so successfully, Bones accidentally stumbling after her.
Vanya continues to unleash hellfire behind him.
Vanya rounds the corner, having dispatched scores of pale, fetid creatures. All of these ghouls coming up on burning piles of their own brethren and screeching malevolently.
Vanya runs through into the darkness.
And then there is quiet. The screeching stops all at once. All of you bump into each other in this complete darkness.
Who's there?
It's us, you moron.
Hey! It could have been the horde of spooky guys!
And what would they have responded? Oi, it's me, the horde of spooky guys.
All right, that was Mr. Mahoney, Lady Maywater, Jade. Vanya, my dear friend, are you here?
If we keep fighting like this is exactly what this place wants us to do, tear each other apart. We should not be doing this.
Oh, thank divine providence. Theobald opens the apple again.
And illuminates a towering, twisting apple tree that simulates a lens flare in each of your retinas. As your eyes adjust, motes of golden light appear to float around the leaves of this majestic tree. And then, a figure, wrapped in dark gray cloth, hobbles forward.
Welcome to the City of Mirrors.
This has been a Hero Club production, produced by Nick Williams, George Primavera, and Jack Quaid, with associate producers Marty Abbe-Schneider and Dylan McCollum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Marty Abbe-Schneider, Dylan McCollum, Lelia Symington, and Hannah Fagerbakke. The City of Mirrors Overture composed and produced by Matthew McCollum. Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod, Ben Doyle, and Matthew McCollum for their amazing music, Mage Hand Press for their genius D&D 5th edition homebrew, Marty Abbe-Schneider for his incredible artwork, and Ali Catanese, our hero. Follow us on Instagram at Hero Club Podcast, on Twitter at Hero Club Pod, on Twitch at twitch.tv/hero_club, And check out our website, HeroClubPodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the club.
Botch.
Yes!
Unbelievable.
Oh!
Unfucking
Jade
real.
hangs
This is
herself
your
with
monkey
the
idol
belt.
botch.
No!
It's an 89 percentile.
I've never botched before.
Thank God it was doing that.
I know.